You're listening to She Speaks, a Let Her Speak podcast that celebrates women's fearlessness, resiliency, and readiness to change the world. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the She Speaks podcast. I'm Catherine Porth, your host and the founder of Let Her Speak. Since founding Let Her Speak, I've heard a lot of stories from women, and every single one is inspiring, heartbreaking, and uplifting all at the same time. There are some stories that have really stuck with me because the woman went through something so profound and so difficult that I know it's unlikely I'll ever personally experience the struggles she has faced. Drocella MugoreWera is one of those stories for me. Drocella first shared her story with the Let Her Speak community in May of 2020 for a virtual workshop about breaking down our own barriers, and it was truly remarkable. You can actually watch it on our YouTube channel if you're curious. In February of 2021, I asked Drocella to sit down with me for an interview to talk about her past, her present, and her future. She is an incredible woman who, since our first interview, has continued to explore how she can best impact the world, which you will hear about more in our next episode when we catch up. But today, let's travel back to February 2021 with Drocella MugoreWera. Welcome, everybody, to the newest edition of the She Speaks series from Let Her Speak. And I'm Catherine Porth, the founder of Let Her Speak. And today I have a woman that you might recognize, especially if you have attended the Let Her Speak virtual event that we had in May of 2020, or if you've been on our YouTube channel. I've been checking out a lot of the stories that we've been featuring there. Drocella MugoreWera is the executive director of Bridge Refugees, but she wears a lot more hats than just that. Not only does she do amazing work for refugees and people coming into America to help them navigate that system and to make them welcomed, but she also is a wonderful storyteller. She's an entrepreneur. She's a mother. She has an incredible background. So she's a woman of many talents and many perspectives of the world. So I'm so glad to have her here to get you all to get to know her a little bit better. So thank you so much for being with me, Drocella.
Thank you for inviting.
Yeah. So I guess the best place for us to start is to have you talk a little bit about where you are now and a little bit about your journey. Because I know you have a long story, an amazing story that you shared with us last year in 2020. But I'd love for you to talk a little bit about where you are now and where you're seeing yourself go.
Okay, thank you, Catherine. It's always good to talk to you. And thank you for the amazing job you do with Let Her Speak. I am the executive director for Bridge Refugee Services, but I want to use my experience as a refugee to bring the light to the world in terms of helping people to understand who refugees are. What are they bringing on the table? They are adding social, economic, and cultural values. And some people think they are takers, but they are part of the fabric of this nation. And also, I want to make sure system so they don't delay what I delayed. And through my book, which is probably will come soon, what secrets you can take care of or be mindful when you move to another country. And I also happen to know through network marketing that you can keep doing what you do, like being an executive or another position, but also have an extra residual income. So income that comes in when you sleep. But as a storyteller, I think I have been told that I am overqualified. As you remember, I came with a lot of experiences. It was hard. I was trained with that mindset. So you go to school, go to college, have a good degree, and you come, you find a job. Now I have another mindset, because the formula that works 50, 100 years ago is no longer working. So I happen to know that I can be an entrepreneur. I can have multiple streams of income. They have multiple. And I am seeing what I need. I defined what are my dreams. And now I'm working towards those dreams, focusing mostly on the gifts I have. And one of them is storytelling. And I can use my story to touch and to connect with the hearts of people who are suffering, who are struggling, who have those gifts, but they don't use them to thrive and to shine. And I want to be there for them. And so I'm launching a speaking business soon. My website is almost ready. I'm planning to launch it on my patron feast, Drocella's feast, on March 21st. So I can, during the weekends and evenings and my holidays, I can just use those skills to bring the light to the world, as I said.
So what are, some of the main topics that you want to share about with your new storytelling business?
I'm a Christian, and I want to use the faith values, especially now when people are worried about the pandemic, the poverty, and other issues. We have inside of us kind of richness, and I want to use those inner values, especially faith, so we can see how that can help us to undergo difficult moments. Also, I like families, and I want the integrity of the families so people can live together. I think most of the people, they struggle, but building a family is like building a business. It's not just say I'm married, but you have to keep being trained about love, relationships. Building relationship even with your partner, it's not something you do in one day and you finish that. It's a continuous process. And I'm also passionate about diversity and inclusion, and leading with empathy is a new kind of leadership. It's not if you don't lead people with them, but you have to meet them where they are. Because if they are struggling emotionally or there are other issues they are dealing with, that will affect your productivity. Through empathy, you can know what they struggle and you can help to navigate by providing resources internally or extending just love and support. And people can increase the retention for the employees, and people will feel like they work in a safe and conducive environment for the production. So these are topics which are in my heart, and I want to use them. And of course, the resilience, refugees and other people, we all are resilient people. But from what experience I lived, I want to use it to show people that no matter the situation you are in, you can always overcome.
And I love that you brought up empathetic leadership, since that's something that we're working on in Let Her Speak to build curriculum and learning around. Have you seen any changes with how you've shifted into taking on more of an empathetic leadership view for the different roles that you have?
Yeah, and people give good feedback. I have people who say, we have never had a boss. I do not like to be called a boss. I am a servant leader. But they said, you treat us the way I have never seen it. It's like I had an employee recently, she called me, she said, I am on the road, I'm bleeding, I'm doing this. And I say, oh my gosh, I'm coming to take you to ER, because the husband was at work. And she said, "Oh, Drocella, nobody just treated me the way you treat me." And they say, I know you will treat me the way I want to treat you. And this is what always I tend to do. And even the pandemic, I take my phone and call and check on employees to see how they are, how the family members are. Because I think beyond just the workplace, we are all human and we undergo different things, and they want to make sure they are okay. It's like sometimes you have an assignment, but people don't feel good and they kill themselves to finish it. But you might talk and say, "Hey, it's not urgent, so just take care of yourself." And working with refugees, when we talk about trauma-informed care, also is another area where people have to know what are the people you work with, what are their background, and how you can help better. Because if you help them, your productivity and just your business thrive and people stay longer. You have less turnover and you have a small budget for training people because they are loyal to the employer.
Yeah, I agree. It has so many different ways of impacting in ways that you don't necessarily see the ripple effect of how it can really help the workplace or the organization and the work that you're doing. And so one thing I'd love for you to talk about, because I remember you answered a question about it at the virtual event, but I think even now it's probably people's views are constantly changing about that. And that's the viewpoint of the value that bringing in refugees has to a society. And so I'd love for you to talk a little bit about the misconceptions that you run into and the to help others see a new perspective of the value that refugees have for any place that takes them in.
Yeah, thank you for that question. Refugees are escaping persecution based on race, religion, political opinion, appartenance to social group, or they are escaping wars and violence. So you escape because your life is in danger. And refugee program is a humanitarian program. I think anybody who will experience that situation, when they go to a place, they will need some support, because if you run just with one clothes on you, you will need to be getting clothes, and you will need some food, you will need some medical care, they will need, so you can be established and get on your feet and try to bring something also refugees are bringing on the table. Because when you come to another country or to our country, there's something you have been working on. And those values and the skills you are bringing, they are enriching the community. We have many people who are cook. So, and if you are a cook, you can just, through food, people have fun together, they eat good food, culture, the music, all that. And we have also some professionals like in medical field and education, and all just come to enrich our countries. So saying that we are coming to take resources from the host countries, it's not true. It's enough. And if we sign up for welcoming refugees, you provide. And the role and the goal of helping refugees is to help them to be self-sufficient as soon as possible, so they become productive and contributing members of the community. And it has been shown that within 2.5 years, you can just pay back in more, in double or triple what they invested on you. It's just a humanitarian program, which tends to be politicized, political program, which is it just loses the value. But if we treat people the way we want it to be treated, and consider what they are bringing to enrich our countries, this is the best thing you can do. And also, some people are afraid that they are bringing insecurity, and some go further to say, oh, they can be terrorists. But undergo toughest screening process. The vetting process is tough. And also these people, they are escaping because of the safety and the security. So the security issues are daily companion of them. So by educating people, what I have seen, many people are not educated, but after you educate them, they happen to understand and to support. And this is how my organization have been thriving even during the pandemic. The financial support and in-kind support has been growing tremendously from 5 years when I got into the office. So it's a humanitarian program, and I invite people just to learn and to build relationships with refugees. And that is a model, economic model, that can help also low-income families. Because from what I've seen, if within every employable client, we search for a job for them, and then we help them to find basic needs when they start. And then within 4, 6, 8 months, people are on their feet. They are not needing in cash from the government, because we do find jobs for employable. And then the people who are not able to work, those are the ones who get benefits from the government. But those are few compared to the large majority of people who can provide for themselves. But as I say, they impact our communities in different ways, and they are working in manufacturing, education, healthcare, hospitality, transportation, many areas, and they are enriching our economy.
And I absolutely am amazed by the work that you all do to help people get on their feet, because as you said, they're not coming to leech off a system for an extended period of time. They're here because they're trying to survive. At the very basic, they're just trying not to be persecuted or to face genocide or whatever is happening in their country, and just trying to ensure the survival of them and their families.
And it's a tiny percentage, 1% of all the refugees worldwide, which are resettled in a third country. It's tiny percent.
Have you noticed any, because you said that the work that you're doing has continued to thrive through the pandemic, which is also incredible that you're able to continue to help these people. Have you seen any shift in like different areas that people are coming from, that because of what's going on with the pandemic, things are worsening, or is it remain somewhat the same, I guess, as far as like where people are coming from and what they're needing from pre-pandemic to right now?
So I would say that the number of arrivals reduced drastically because of the pandemic. But we also try to adapt, because if you don't adapt, you perish. With our clients also, we try to help them, like in this virtual world. We say, hey, how do they communicate with case managers? And people created a way of producing video. So and they can see, and they can see the faces of the people they talk to. We had a chance to have some donors who gave us money also to buy laptops and to do the training. So one thing in terms of transportation, what we incurred, it's like when we wanted them to take Uber to go where they went to go, or to be trained or to do something, they were afraid. So that gave us an opportunity to train them and to find ways. Now we are working to find ways to collaborate with Uber, and maybe working with refugees, former refugees who are in the transportation business world. So who know about what we struggle and how they struggle themselves. So it gave us opportunity to create. And we did do also a survey to see how they are behaving from home, what are the challenges. And then it was very good that we did get feedback from the clients, but they are struggling as other. And then I can say that when you don't speak the language, you can struggle double compared to other people speaking the language and who can navigate. Because sometimes when you depend on others, and like the people also who were affected by COVID, we worked with their volunteers who generously accepted for shopping, go for shopping, and then drop off groceries on our clients' doors. So we are trying to see how even virtually volunteers can teach English, how they can support. So we are trying to see how within the pandemic we can adapt new solutions to keep providing services. But we never stopped. We just find ways of using different ways of communication so we can continue to provide services.
And I think that speaks so highly too of your team and your leadership of being able to we're going to keep serving people, but we'll just figure out how we can do it in the circumstances we're in.
Yeah, I have an amazing team. And the resilience I am talking about, as I said, everybody has that resilience. So when the situation comes in, you just have to find a way to survive and to thrive.
Yep, absolutely. So that brings me to a question. And I think it's something that is a topic of debate a little bit, the idea of the American dream. And I feel like a lot of those of us who were born here and haven't really seen or had to experience something outside of the United States has one perspective of the American dream is no longer valid, or it's not really a thing anymore. And a lot of people are arguing it still is, but it might look different. And so I'd love for your perspective of someone who did come from another country, who had to leave, not because you necessarily wanted to, because you had to, and make a new life in America. Does the American dream still feel valid to you? And what is that dream that you have?
So I think American dream still valid. Since I was not trained here, I asked some of my friends if it is even taught in school. But I think every individual wants to have a better life. And so am I, so refugees are. After losing everything I invested in for more than 40 years and coming here and starting from scratch, of course, I had to figure out and think and learn and dream and see what I want. And I'm grateful that, first of all, my defining moment, I think it's when I have been introduced to network marketing. So when people showed me that I can work and have extra income and teach other people to do the same, because you get successful when you help many people. A doctor does the same. You cannot say, I'm a doctor without seeing patients. You cannot, a salesperson the same. So, of course, I remember when I was in an apartment, I felt like I was confined in an apartment and I didn't have where to touch the soil, where I can grow my own flowers. I started to need my own house. And I found a way to get to that house. And I had a car. And then I said, this is old car. How can I have a comfortable car? So I found a way to buy a new car. And then I say now I am over 50 and I want to retire young. And I want to help many people as much as I can. So I want to help my husband to pay off his student loan and finish my mortgage, to pay my mortgage, and have much time with my family and my grandson and the other grandchildren to come. And I want also to give more, to have more so I can give more. I'm passionate about really eradicating poverty. It's unfair that with all the resources in the world, we do still face poverty. I want to fight like homelessness. I want to help resolve the affordable housing in America. There are many people who do not have where they want to live, or the rent is high and they don't find that. So I want to get more financial and live a lifestyle I deserve, but not just me and my family, but people in the community. I want to help my community, but I want also to teach people how they can live that lifestyle they desire, because many people do not move another step ahead because they just live in the box and they are in the comfort zone. You have to help them and show other ways that other people, if other people did it and you learn about the skill, you can do it. And this is my passion, to show people how they can create their own economy, even during the pandemic. I think the people who are doing online businesses are thriving and they are not suffering. And these are the things many people can do. I want to teach people how to awakening their dreams. I know everybody had a dream. When we were children, we were saying, oh, I will be a pilot. I will be this, I'll do this, I do this. So those dreams are like in dormant mode. And this is why within my speaking, also this is something I want to show, that they have something in them. We have to awaken it, watering it, and then let it flourish. So these are the things that I aspire to do. I want to see my husband retire happy, so we can travel all over the world and all the 50 states.
I think that's a beautiful version of the new American dream, is that it's not about just the self, not just about you building wealth and you having the home and you having the family and the dream job and things like that, but it's about the ability to impact others' lives and the freedom to be able to sustain yourself, but therefore also being able to give back and to help others grow and sustain themselves. I think that's an absolutely beautiful version of what I hope many see that the American dream can be, and not so much the inner. It's all about me and my wealth, but no, by thereby helping others, you are growing wealth for all.
I have one mentor who always say that strangers have our lives in their hands, and that is true. You cannot develop by yourself. You cannot thrive by yourself. You cannot be wealthy by yourself. So, and I remember another person who always teach, I say, I'll make millions by helping many people, a lot of people. This is how we say. So we are all interlinked and interrelated, and we have to grow together. And this is why I'm passionate about my community. I want to see how things can change to the best, because if you thrive today and you teach your child how they can grow and they teach others how they can grow, this is how all grow together and become strong together.
One topic that was talked about much more, I think, towards the beginning of the pandemic, but a few things that you've said have kind of made me revisit it, is that there's a lot of opportunity for where we are right now. There's a ton of opportunity for us to change and for us to grow and for us to look at things differently and to change our perspectives and to impact things. Do you have, one or two areas in particular that you hope coming out of the pandemic, because hopefully we're seeing it on the horizon right now, that we'll be getting through to, I guess, whatever that normalcy is going to be now? But do you see what the opportunities are of things that we have learned over the last year that you hope we will continue to carry with us, even when we're back to some sort of normal.
I think humanism is one of them. I think after the pandemic, businesses will not keep doing business as usual. 5 days a week in the office, probably many will let employees work from home 2 days or 3 days a week, so they can be with the families also. Because I think the productivity didn't go low in those companies. And I think another area is where people have been creative. I was talking to a friend and I said, she said, I'm stuck home. I don't know what to do. And I said, what do you like to do? And she said, I like to take pictures of different things. And I say, can't you make or get paid out of that? She said, how can I do that? And I say, I can find somebody who does the same thing and she will teach you how to do it, because they are those professionals who just take a good picture from the sky and many people will love it. I think self-discovery, and it's something people probably never considered, but some people did go into themselves to see what else they can do besides the routine they have been developing. And I think even it's sad that we heard that people committed suicide because of this being confined in the homes, but otherwise also relationships within the families get established and became strong. And I think that will continue to grow. We'll see family relationships going up. And then this creative mode, I think it's another thing, and another area where I see people will keep creating and learn new stuff.
I think that I completely agree. I asked that question because I knew you would have a great answer.
Yeah.
So, one thing I love, because every entrepreneur has a completely different story about what first brought them into it, whether it was because they were born into it or because they found it later in life or something sparked in them. What was there a particular point at which you realized that, entrepreneurship was a path that you wanted to take?
Yeah, I think there are two moments for me. I told all three. That one is when I was introduced to network marketing. And the second one is after being told several times that I'm overqualified. I went home and thought about, what am I qualifying for? And I was learning, following some speakers, loving what they do. I spoke back home when I was in different managerial positions, and people were touched by what I was saying home. Even when I was the Minister of Environment with the little budget, I happened to speak to different audiences and simplify my messages, and people could come and say, hey, you did say this, it touched me, it did teach me this and this. And then when I said, what do I qualify for? I happened to say, hey, I can become a speaker. And then I say, I have a story to tell. And this is, sometimes you say, what is unique for you? My story is unique. Nobody can tell it like me. And it has been helping me in the organization I'm leading now to lead. I remember when I went there, I said, what are the stories? I need successful stories. I did ask case managers. I need stories of refugees so we can brand them and people will know what they achieved and what they contributed to our communities. So I happen to know that, and I follow the speakers and I say, I can. And then people were telling me, Drocella, why don't you even do coaching? Because you are, by nature, you are a life coach. And I said, I'm helping people. And they say, you can keep helping them. There are people you will help for free, but you can get paid for the skills you have. And another day, I was at a conference, and somebody said, every one of you has a book in your belly. And I was listening, and I said, I have a book in my belly? Yeah. I said, yes, I have one. And I started to just draft, and I think, yes. And I will write 1, 2, 3, or 10. You never know. When you start, you don't stop. So these are like the 4 really moments that awakened me. The network marketing, when I met my friend Sukari, and then speaking, and then the book, and then the coaching. And I knew that when you start by one thing, you develop different products, and then you serve many people at once. And I think I have a lot to share. And this is why I say, when people are telling me that I'm bringing the light to the world, I do not want to take this for granted, but also I want to capitalize on that, because they see the value in me. And that now I want to scale it globally.
And I think that speaks a lot to your own, your own personal strength and fortitude and confidence in knowing that you bring a value and you have a worth that you can share, but that, yes, like you said, you have every right and you should capitalize on that worth and on that value. And I see that that can be something that's very difficult for a lot of people that are unhappy in the work that they're doing, whether they're in a corporate role or entry level, or they just can't get their feet under them, is that they feel like they don't have anything of value to give to people. Did you ever have that struggle at any point, that you just weren't sure what, if you had a value, or do you have people that you work with that are struggling with that?
At one point, when I was looking for a job and they will say I'm overqualified, I say, maybe I'm not needed here. But I remember when I was working with disabled people and I treated them with love and kindness. Oh my gosh. When I wanted to leave, it took me like 6 months before I left to show that I love them. And even when I leave, I will love them. So that moment showed me that that love is invaluable. It's more than billions. Even me personally, my belief is that even if you save one people's life, it's worthy. It's and I know I have many people who complain, and they complain about where they work, they complain about how they live, and I'm trying to help them to say, have you thought about this? How will you go out of this? And then when you go by asking them to find their strengths and skill, and you find that they are like rich by the way the mindset they have about how they can grow, how they grew, say, hey, you are not worthy, you cannot even achieve this. And they get discouraged by other people's opinion. Me, it's not me. Other people's opinion, they don't define me. I just care about what I want, and I pursue my goals, and I learn how I can succeed with others, because I cannot succeed by myself. But there are people who are pulled down by others' people's opinion, and they stay there. But me, I do believe, and this is what I want to show, that even though I was a high-level professional, I started from goodwill, I can still rise, even go beyond where I was, because I was created for abundance. And if I believe that and I live it, there is no way I can just have unlimited income and support, my glass can overflow, and I can support many people for the causes I do believe in and I support.
Yeah, and I think that just speaks again to your resilience and your tenacity of just, I feel like that's one of the quintessential when people ask, what is confidence or what is personal belief and positive mindset. It's this unwavering of, regardless of what externally the voices are telling you, you from the very center of yourself know that you are valuable and you are worthy and you are capable of doing things and achieving what you're trying to achieve. And I think that's a powerful story that we have to be reminded of all the time, especially those that are in that pit of just listening to the voices around them and they can't necessarily pull themselves out of that.
Yeah. I have one lady. She was doing Uber. She was in interpretation services, and she was doing something online. And I said, "You are an entrepreneur. You have to believe in that, and you are doing more than millions of people." And she said, "Drocella, by talking to you from today, I'm starting to believe in myself, that I'm an entrepreneur, and then grow my businesses." I say, "Yes, you are a businesswoman, but sometimes you need that voice that wake you up, and then you grow." Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, sometimes you need that little bit of a spark from somewhere to light that. Yeah. So what are, you've talked about about your goals of like the big dream, but in the, I guess, near term of within like the next 12 to 18 months, what are you hoping to do? Where are you seeing the next 12 to 18 months with like the launch of your storytelling and all the other work that you're doing?
So I will, in the next 18 months, I am launching my speaking. So as I told you, my website will be up in March. And then I started to speak, but mostly I speak for free. And I want to just be a professional speaker. And I'm attending a master storytelling academy, so I can be a professional in that. And my book will be up this year. Maybe at the end of the year, I will have another one, or beginning of 2022. And when I will see those two businesses proliferating, probably I'll phase out from what I'm doing now. But I do still think that with the refugee anti-rhetoric, which we have been seeing, this industry also needs me. And I want to give my best to educate, to empower, to bring more partnerships to support this industry. But probably 2022 will be a year of really being full-time as an entrepreneur.
What are the titles of your books? Do you have the titles yet?
From exile to executive. This is the first one.
Oh, okay.
They want to share the secrets of integration in another country. Yeah, but I have other titles which are still secrets, but I started to think about 2 or 3. I have like more 4 titles for the books to come.
Okay. All right. Yeah. I like that. From exile to executive.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
So talking a little bit about, you were talking about the opportunities for that you want to continue to build before stepping fully into entrepreneurship for refugees and through the Bridge Refugee Services that you're working with right now. What are some of the greatest opportunities or gaps that you see that need to be addressed to help more refugees that are coming to the US?
So I have been working with nationally. I'm part of the Refugee Congress as well. We want to see refugees around the table, and we want refugees to shape the way the refugee program is set. Because what we have seen in years to pass, sometimes they don't consider the integration, how long it takes, and how much resources needed, so the integration can be there. And also, we want to see how the welcoming communities get stronger and organized. Because now, even Knoxville, when we talk about refugees, there are people who say, oh, bridge is there. But bridging is like an entry point who help them with the basic. But the neighborhood where they live, the employment where they work, the landlord where they work, they live. So they should all display their role, not just saying, hey, we are relying on bridge. I want all the constituencies in the refugee settlement and integration be strong enough and understand their roles and plan for resources. It's like interpretation services. It's not just for refugees. When we talk about diversity and inclusion, really you have to make sure that those languages, opportunities are everywhere. Because when you say, oh, yeah, I'm a welcoming city, so, but people who are coming into your office cannot communicate with you. You don't have a language line. So these are the things we are fighting for. So really we can be more inclusive communities. Of course, even if I become fully entrepreneur, I will continue to work on issues I care about, like racial equity is one of them. If I'm a board member or a team member of this group, I will not just abandon it, because this is a program that needs a long-term vision and activities, and I want to be part of that. So, but in the refugee program, I want to see how, for example, for next year, when we present, or 4 years to come, when we present the program to the new administration, which will come, we have different gaps covered in the way we can propose what has to be done. So I want the strong communities which are welcoming, but I want also to see leaders developing leadership in refugees in collaboration with other constituencies, and also see how the anti-refugee rhetoric can be get away, and then we can restore the welcoming spirit many people had long ago.
I completely agree. It's not oh, we have this one thing, they will solve all these issues, right? No, it is that holistic taking on responsibility for the role that you play, and that it's this entire ecosystem that is built around helping refugees who are coming in, but also the entire system around racial equity and diversity and inclusion and all of it. It's all holistic. It's all an ecosystem. We all play a role in it in different ways. So I appreciate that you're continuing to talk about that. This isn't like because we exist, the work is done.
No. And you see, like, I am passionate about environment too, and this is people from home, they can tell you. And I want, when I have a lot of freedom, when I have free time, this is an area when I want to do more in environment, education, and working on our ecosystems and things like that. So, yeah.
I also appreciate, that you're not, which I never thought that you would completely cut off of like, no, I'm an entrepreneur now. No, there's no way. I know.
No way. There is a lot of work to do. So, and I'm glad that I have those connections and I can contribute here and there, and I will keep doing that.
So then the question I have then to finish up our discussion is around the legacy that you ultimately want to leave. I mean, you've mentioned, you know, quite a few different ways that you hope to impact while you're still here, and be able to impact and change and help others. But what is, you know, at the very core, I mean, what is the primary legacy that you're hoping to leave behind?
I care about families. I want to contribute to the reduction of divorces in families. And I don't see many people tackle that issue. And I think I believe through relationships and tackling issues that bring divorce, being abuse or other issues, but I think I can contribute to that. And I want to see people who commit to love each other. It's not one day commitment. I want that, you see how we have a dream. I want that dream they have when they date, they decide to marry. How can it sustain until death? And then if there are few people evil, I know evil exists, but I'm sure that we can reverse the situation. If it goes to the trend, it keeps going. So I don't see a sustainable country. I don't see a sustainable county, a city, and then a country. So because all start within individually, within home, at home, and then it shines and radiates. I think if I can contribute to that, I'll be happy when I leave this earth. And also, as I told you, if I can make a contribution to poverty reduction by being able to show those many people who do not know how they can move the needle from where they are. For me, what surprised me, I told you, one of the things is to see the level of poverty in America, a powerful country in the world, but talking about hunger and poverty, it's not fair. It's not fair, and homelessness. And I will use my voice to tell people who either they are decision making or they are investors in those areas to find a way we can reverse the situation. And I want people to love themselves more and to appreciate who they are. And this is why one of my mission is, I talked about awakening the gifts and watering them so they can flourish. Because I do believe every human being has goodness and greatness in them. But sometimes you are despaired because you don't have a support system. When the support system is there, you can be restored, and you can love again and feel loved. It's sad to hear that people get to the point of killing themselves because they don't love themselves. They don't feel they are worthy. Anything I can do to make sure that every individual or the majority feel like they are worthy, they are valued, and the hardship is normal, and it's a transition. You are not created to suffer, even if suffering is part of your life. And how do you manage it? How do you accept it? And how do you build? How it gives you the motive to move forward, not just to die and be despaired and feel worthless.
That's beautiful. And I think too, there's so many links amongst those three areas that you just mentioned. I mean, they all flood into each other. And they all build off of each other too. So I think that is an absolutely amazing legacy to leave behind, starting with helping the individual, and that replicating and expanding to the beam, as you talk, to the radiance that comes off of that. I think that's an incredible legacy to leave behind. And I have every confidence that you will be able to do that.
Yeah, I want to see, like, every soul I touch, publicly, individually, in the community, I want them to feel worthy. And if I can touch their heart when they struggle, and I can show the way they can get out of there, I will be happy to do that.
That's beautiful, Drocella. Thank you so much for your time and for your insight, your wisdom, your heart that you put into everything that you do. We'll put in the caption, of course, how people can connect with you, but if you want to mention the best ways for people to connect with you.
Yeah, I think the best way to connect with me for now, I will make things public soon with my website and things like that. But through Bridge Refugees email and my personal email, if people want to connect, this is how they can connect with me now.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. And I thank you so much for what you do, and wonderful vision you have, and keep up with those great ideas. And I just appreciate how you are a connector and somebody to go to when you think about a resource in our city.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Drocella. And I mean, likewise too.
Yeah.
I mean, you do an incredible amount of work that I feel like doesn't always get noticed, but those of us that see you definitely notice it. So, and we very much appreciate everything that you do for our community.
Thank you. Okay, have a great day.
Yeah.
Now that you've heard Drocella's story of where she's been, tune in for our next episode, where we catch up with her 2 years later to learn how far she's come. This episode of She Speaks is brought to you by our amazing partners at First Horizon Bank. She Speaks is produced, edited, and scored by the very talented Travis Tench at Oak Hill Audio. If you loved the episode you just heard and want to support Let Her Speak's mission of elevating real women's stories, don't forget to follow, subscribe, and share at Let Her Speak USA. Together, we will make our voices heard.